You need to play to your strengths. Enable sticking with JP. Dude, Enable is another comedian. Like, whenever this dude shows up, I don't know who he's gonna play with. He's been on the Kin and he's been on the JP for the most of the year. Like, JP got nerfed a little bit and certain of his kit wasn't working as optimally. Man switched to Ken, did ridiculously well. Then when they buffed JP again, Enable was like, I do main, let's go. Naruto, oh wait, not Naruto, Apollo as well. Another man that hits the random select button and be like, okay, this is what I'm playing today. Very competent Luke, very competent
How
Ed,
guys do it, honestly.
very competent Bison, and now he's jamming Ryu again. Back to the day one Shotos.
It's so crazy, and I mean, now he's not lucky, but I mean, I'm sure he's very happy that Ryu got buffed.
Oh,
He can go
absolutely,
back
dude.
to his first character he wanted to play, and maybe it's all the wake up amnesia.
Nobody
But as I was
that,
saying,
bro.
maybe it's gonna end up working much better in his favor, and he's gonna enjoy the game a lot more now that Ryu's actually up there with the big boys, you know?
Yeah.
Nice to see people not give up on JP though. Enable, Chucks, Belial. Belial's still using JP, competing here in the UK against some of the best players in Europe.
Dude, Bilal competing on that side of the world and this side of the world is giving him so much perspective in terms of what different levels of play is compared to Africa versus internationally. And myself doing a lot of background work for the EU stream this year as well. The consistency with which they are putting on events is raising the level, and I feel like as a region, South Africa and the sub-African region needs to get there. Dude. We need to up our play if we want to compete on the world stage.
Agree, but I also think it comes with more experience on the world stage. I mean, look how much everybody leveled up just from Jabi going overseas to represent South Africa.
100%
And just Jabi bringing the knowledge and the tech back to then start helping the other guys within the community, like Mark the Shark, like Billy, like Vin, like everybody else that Jabi ends up helping, I believe has helped the community in a much bigger way than us hosting our own tournaments could. Yes, it's good to play, but if you don't have the information, you're not gonna magically figure it out.
100%
Or at least not all of it, you know. So I think this coming here, we got Mark the Shark going to Red Bull Kumite, we got Jabi going to Capcom Cup. I think that can only help the community more and level up our guys even further.
Talking about leveling up, dude. Apollo spinning all of his bar to try and close out versus Enable here, but Enable realizing he is in burnout, dips back. Oh, it's a fireball though.
Yeah, dipping back means nothing.
Dude, just to your point about the guys going overseas and bringing back the international experience, there's an adage that says the rising tide lifts all boats, and I feel like that is what our players who are able to travel overseas, because it's not easy from Africa to get international exposure, because the EU, US, and the Asian scenes, those guys are able to access each other a little bit easier than what we are. But at the same time, dude, when you look at the level of our competition and to your point, how much it has raised in the 1 year that Street Fighter 6 has been out, we're definitely inching.
I mean, we have Jabi, we have Mark, we have Chucks, we have Belial, we have Chico, we have who was that other African player that was doing incredibly well? I can't remember his name. I follow him on Twitter. There's a lot of African players that are out here doing the most. I mean, even outside of Street Fighter, we just had Johnny Shaolin from Cote d'Ivoire, who made top 16 at the Tekken World Tour Finals. We have Verix, who won the Guilty Gear Strive World Tour. So I mean, Africa is rising. What great reaction there. Africa is rising, and I think Street Fighter's time is gonna be in the next 2 years.
Dude, this game has only been out for a year. We are in the second season. Oh, what a parry on the open, but it's not. Gets out there. Irfan saying in chat that they also have a bigger player base. 100% agree with you, but at the same time, their their infrastructure enables them to play. Like Africa is separated by the
Yeah,
fact that
yeah.
most African countries still don't have reliable internet where we can just meet each other online, and the player bases are sort of siloed in a way where, depending on where you live in Africa, it means that you can only have access to certain parts of Africa where the competition is, and connections may vary, man. Like just earlier we saw Almighty Pussy.
Oh,
Haha, the Joker. Thank you so much for the follow, dude. We simply
I
don't
was
have enough
wondering what
players
was
in the
that.
country. Yep.
Well, even I don't even think country matters. I'm actually reading everyone's messages now. He says that he spends most of his time waiting and playing, and I agree with that. I've just moved to the UK recently, and where I would normally play 2 or 3 matches in South Africa, I've probably played 20 matches in the same time, kind of thing, you know, where I can press search and within 50 seconds I've found a match. So I definitely do agree that um, our player base is still way too small, but I think that in terms of top level players, if there were more guys, it wouldn't really affect Jabi or Vin or Billy or Irfan or Sunny, because you're not going to be playing against most of them. You're still going to be playing against the same high level players. In terms of the community, in terms of dungeon, in terms of crazy eights, in terms of seasonal beatings, yes, in that sense, having more players helps a lot because then you get more injuries. But looking at the international scene, most of the top players still end up playing the other top players. So for South Africa, I don't think much would have changed, or for Africa in general. The connection to me is the biggest problem, because you can't even be in South Africa and play somebody in Northern Africa. You can't be South African and verse an Egyptian. You can't be an Egyptian and verse a Ghanaian or something, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe the developers need to also start investing some love into these nations, build some servers out there, give some guys some,
I think
what's the word I'm looking for, like motivation to want to play the game, because fighting games are good, but Africans don't want to be playing in 200, 300 ping.
100%. And the other thing that, just from an observer on the outside looking in, I was watching Reaper play FIFA, and this man was getting matches consistently, bro. And like, I didn't know that FIFA's online experience was that good.
Yeah, FIFA has SA servers, so it helps
Yeah,
out a lot.
that's what I'm saying, and it speaks to your point that if there are servers for said game, then that enables a certain portion of the region to play consistently. To your point now, Ruto, if SA Africa prospered to a point where everyone could get a fiber line, then we'd have a normal online experience, and that would greatly help the level of fighting game players in Africa, and also expose the world stage to all the sleepers that are lying, like Verix, like Shaolin, like Jabi, like the Rens, all these high caliber players that are playing at a high level that the world doesn't necessarily get to see. Ooh, no reactions on the side of an
Nice.
Abel that time. He is looking to take a match here, playing for his tournament life is an Abel. Can level 3 here. Yes!
Yep.
Enables managing to find the thread for victory in that one interaction.
Yeah, but we also mustn't be too discouraged. I don't want guys to think that we're saying like, oh no, it's a waste, Africa is too far behind. I mean, in terms of esports locally, I would say the fighting game community is one of the most, if not the most successful community within African esports. So we're doing something right. We must just keep doing our thing, and it's eventually gotta happen.
100%, dude. We just need to keep our
Looking
finger on
a
the
few
pulse.
years ago, we didn't have any spots in pro tours. We didn't have any African players going to world stages. Now we have a world champion in Realty here. We have a Tekken top 16 finalist in Tekken World Tour. Street Fighter, we're on the come up. We've got Jabi beating Takudo. Mark going to Red Bull Kumite. Jabi going to Capcom Cup year on year. So it's getting there. We just have to keep pushing and have faith.
100% correct, dude. And the likes of Noodles, Juju, Juno, Giuseppe, all these new kids coming through, dude. And there's people like,
Community is looking bright.
yep, and there's the OGs like Irfan, Sunny, Apollo, Naruto, all these guys that have been playing Street Fighter for years that are just able to impart knowledge and then just help this younger generation grow. And we didn't necessarily have access. Ooh, Apollo! Trying to clean it. Enable's clock here. Enable fighting for his tournament life. Apollo now up. Potential final match here. Gets the pickup. That's not a conversion I see often from Ryu. Ooh.
Rita. Hello, Rita. Might be good. Who's Rita? Mark?
Give me a second.
Is that Appetite?
I don't know who this
I know you
person
said
is.
Appetite has a wedding or something. Oh, level 3 to dodge the fireball. That is going to be that for this one.
Man staying alive.
Is it 2-2? Yeah, 2-2. Irfan says, I think our department, we're discussing different things. We need to find ways to grow and normalize the game in our areas. Irfan, I agree with you. In terms of growing the scene, for sure. But what I was talking about was more the level of our top players against the international top players. So I 100% agree with you. We also need to focus on our local communities. We need to focus on getting more guys down to tournaments. We need to focus on exposing the game and the community to more people. But what I was talking about was more the level of our top guys against the best guys in the world coming.
Okay, Apollo here. Potential
Not a neighbor.
tournament point. No, I'm talking about the match specifically. And Abel needs to find a round here if he wants to stay alive. Working down the drive for nice anti-air now. Oh, what a parry on the donkey. Checks him. Oh!
Great jump into the level 3.
I agree with that.
Burn out some of that meter and get a bigger life.
You and I share the same dream, Irfan, is for the scene to grow and become more consistent. And by the way, if you have stuck around with us after 3 hours of season's beatings, oh, level 3 for the sneak!
Again, he did that last round and now he's just done it. He did that last match and now he's just done it again.
Okay,
But yeah, if you've been sitting there for the last 3 hours,
I do
you are
have
champion.
100% correct, and I do have an announcement for you guys at the end of the stream, specifically